Alrighty guys, welcome back to just a little episode here with Explore by Adventure. Just going to go through today, we've been asked a few times of what we use to film our episodes and what I use to edit all these bits and pieces. So I just thought I'd just give you a quick brief rundown of what we use to film our little episodes, how we get some of our photos for Instagram and all that sort of stuff as well. So we'll start with the small cameras. So at the moment we're using some GoPros. I've got 3 GoPros. I've got a Hero Sessions 5. This is what I started out with well before I started Explore. So it's just a little one. It's got no screen on the back. And then I got a Hero 5, so a normal size GoPro in the Hero 5. It's a black. This is the one that came out with a screen. This is probably 4 or 5 year old now. Still films really well. I kind of use this one more for when I'm filming outside the car, because I don't really care if this one gets ruined. Same with the other one as well. I have this sitting on the ground. I put it on a little tripod, bits and pieces like that. This is the little tripod here I use it on. It's just a Jolby. You can sit it on the ground, just have it sitting like that, or having it wrapped around trees. This has got like flexible legs, having it all bits and pieces, or you can just pull the legs out straight and hold it as well. So this one is just for this GoPro here, just to let it sitting outside as well as I also use it on this here, which is it's called the 3-footed monster. I haven't had this for very long, but it's really awesome. What it is it's magnetic on here, so it sticks to the outside of your car on any metal surfaces, and then you just stick your GoPro up the top there. Really strong. Like it takes a bit of effort to pull this off. It's heaps better than using the suction cups that people use on the outside of their cars. I think this is heaps better than that. So this is really worth it. I think I paid almost 150 bucks for that, which I reckon is worth its weight in gold, because you're not losing GoPros as well. And I also use a Hero 10. So the latest GoPro, which is a Hero 10. I use this for in-car filming and a few bits and pieces outside the car as well, but mainly in-car. I will get probably the Hero 11 when it comes out, and then move this one to an outside car and a Hero 11 inside the car. A few of the accessories I use for the GoPros, as I said, I use the this little tripod here and the 3-footed monster. I also use the media mod for the Hero 10. So what it is a little case that has a microphone inbuilt, and has also got cold shoe mounts on the top and on the side. Cold shoe mounts is I can use an external microphone, or I've got here a little light. So this here's got 3 settings this light here has, and this sits on the outside. I usually sit this on the outside of this, so if we're filming of an afternoon or late in the night in the car, I use just to flick the light on. So that's really handy as well. That's all rechargeable. I also use a extended one of these just for the longer shots, just if I'm filming myself from away. It's easier to use. This also comes with a built-in tripod underneath. So this is just a brand that I just got off eBay or something, just a cheap brand, but it's good enough for me for what I'm doing. Sits like that. Yep, it just sits in like that, screws underneath, and then legs turn out and it stands up just like that if you wanted to use it like that. Also I use the GoPro mounts, so you can never have enough GoPro mounts. So I've got hundreds of these. I stick them all over, stick them on the car on the outside, sometimes on the inside. That's how I hold my GoPro up for my in-car footage, is just a sticky mount onto the windscreen. I think that's really good too. So that's our GoPro stuff. I have a whole box full of GoPro stuff, so I also use the chest harness, the head mount. I've got all the different little other attachments and stuff, but this is mainly what I use for when we're filming our trips. So another thing we use is our phones. I've got the latest phone, which is an iPhone 13 Pro Max. It takes really good quality photos for what it is. I think it's really good. And it also takes really good recorded video. So sometimes we use recordings out of our phones. You can record at 4K with this phone, And you can also record at 4K 24 frames, 4K 30 frames, and 4K 60 frames. Also as 1080 and 720 as well. You can also record really good slow-mo footage as well with this too. So I think the phone's really good. We take a lot of our photos for our Instagram and stuff like that with our phones, because it's just quick and easy instead of having to whip out a camera. For other photos and stuff mainly, and we use this sometimes for a little bit of filming, but very rare. I've got a Canon here. This is an old school Canon. I've had this for quite some time. I've had this for probably 5 or 6 years. It's a Canon 60D, and I've also got a Tamron lens on the front, which is a 19 to 35 lens. So that's our close range lens. I've also got a lens here, which is most likely the Canon kit lens that came with it, but it's also a 55 to 250 mil lens too. So we use this for photos. I find that the Canon cameras take a bit more crisper and better photo than other cameras, but that's just my personal preference. People use heaps of other stuff as well, but I really like that, and we do film on it as well, like I said. The main camera we use which is behind the filming right now. What I'll do is I'll grab my phone and I'll just get some footage of that one. Alrighty, so just on my phone now, this is the camera that we use here, which is a Sony 6500, A6500 with a Sony lens on it. This is an 18 to 105 lens that we use on here, and also got the Rode mic on the top, which is really good. This is how we film nearly all our episodes through this camera. This is our main camera for filming, and underneath we use the Frodo tripod, so that's what we use as well. So that's how we do our cooking episodes. That's our setup for our cooking episodes. This is the camera that we use as well. Awesome. On our cameras though, we do use external mics, which I've got a spare one here. So this is a Rode shotgun mic. This just sits on top of the camera. It's also got the windbreak little thing as well, dead cat as they call them. I use this on the Canon. Also I use it on the GoPro as well sometimes. All it is it slides on the top here like this, tighten it on, and then a cord runs in, plugs in, and that's how we use that. So I've got that currently on the camera that I'm filming on now, which is really cool, just to get that clearer voice and clearer sound through the camera. We also use, for our drone shots, I've got a Mavic 2 Pro here. I've had this one not very long. I've probably had this for 3 or 4 months now. Bought it secondhand. Is in mint condition and only paid like 600 bucks for it. So I got it for a steal. Comes with a heap of batteries, a controller, heaps and heaps of other stuff, accessories as well. It's even got like the little drop release thing that you can connect to it, which I find is pretty cool too. And on our camera that we're using now, that I'm filming on now, is we usually use this, which is a gimbal. We film all our episodes with this. Kylie pretty much uses this when she films the four-wheel driving, just for the stability. Makes it so much more crisp and smooth when she's moving around, and it's just easier. She's not very stable with holding a camera like this in the sense, and to be filming like this with her hands. She doesn't think that she's got stable hands to get good enough footage that way. So gimbal, this is just the DJI Ronin SC. So this is the smaller one. There is a newer version out as well. This is the first model that came out. Really, really good. I've got no problems with it. I usually hold around, and it's really good that you can, little button on the back, you can move the camera around. So I can be filming myself here, double click of this, the camera will just spin around and film whatever I'm looking at, which is really good. I think that's great. And yeah, so that's most of our camera stuff. Just into some of the accessories that we use and bits and pieces. So down here, I carry all this camera gear except for the drone stuff in a low pro bag. So this is an active low pro bag. It's the biggest one you can get. To open it up, in the back here, it's got all the storage in here. I've got my chargers and stuff still in there. All the cameras sitting there. They've got special positions so they don't get damaged. I usually carry all my camera gear in this bag that I take around, and it's just it just keeps everything safe. So you just chuck everything into the car, load it up, and then I know everything's in here, chargers, batteries, cords, all that bits and pieces, and all the camera gears in one bag. So that all goes in here. For the drone, it's got its own separate bag. So it is a low pro bag as well, but it's got a hard case on it so nothing happens. So you open this up here, the GoPro, so the drone's got its remote control holder, drone sits in here, and then it's got all its spare batteries and chargers and all its blades as well if it needs to be replaced. Then it's got a bit of storage at top. So these are the two bags I'll take with us when we go filming everywhere. I don't like taking those hard case, suitcase looking things. They are a bit more sturdy, but they just take up too much room. So I've just got them there. I just make sure them. When we go for hikes or if we're going for a walk and I know there's good drone footage to be taken, I'll just take the drone bag, so all the drone stuff's in it, and I'll just chuck a camera in it, or I'm holding a camera. Sometimes I might just take the other bag for just with the cameras in it as well. So I've got those. I do have one of those hard case, like they're like Pelican cases or tool cases or something like that, and big hard plastic ones. I've got all my GoPro stuff in there as well, like all my GoPro accessories and bits and pieces. And then I've also got a bigger one that holds all my camera stuff that I don't need to take around everywhere. So it's about this big, all the camera extra lenses that I don't really use anymore, other mounts, camera bits and pieces, microphones, they're all stored in this big case, and I just leave that at home. If I ever need to get something out of it, just open it up, put it in the bags for certain trips and stuff. In that I usually keep when I go fishing, I usually keep the head mount or the chesty mount in there, so I just pull them out as I go. All my footage is recorded. I've got this little case here. All my footage is recorded on little memory cards. So I've got this here. It's all full of memory cards for micro SDs, the SD adapters. I use Samsung or ScanDisk SD cards. 128 gigs is a good is a good size that I find, without having to spend fortunes on 256 gig memory cards. I haven't filled 128 gig memory card yet. I film in all 4K from the drones and the cameras, and the camera that I'm filming now, it's all in 4K, and I haven't filled one of those up in one trip yet, so I'm yet to do that. When I do a bigger trip, I will have a laptop with me. So going into the laptop, everything's stored on hard drives, external hard drives. I use the lace rugged ones. I take these with me if I ever go on the bigger trips. I've never had to yet use it, but I've got a massive trip coming up, which is probably a 4 or 5 week trip, which memory cards won't hold them, so I'll need to transfer across. So these are here, and I also have two laptops. This is my main one. This is a MacBook Pro 16-inch. It is the latest one with a touch bar and all that sort of stuff on it. It's got a 1000 gigs solid state hard drive in it, and that's where I do all my editing. Photos in Lightroom, and I also use Final Cut Pro X to edit the videos. So that's all done on that computer. I use at home, I do have two external screens as well. And then if I do go out on these bigger trips where I need to transfer stuff across, I've got an older MacBook which is only a 13-inch. It's probably about 6 or 7 year old. Paid fortunes for it back in the day, but it's at the point now where I've got this one and I'll take that one with me, so if it gets ruined, I'm not going to really worry too much about it. So I'll take that, take the hard drive and transfer footage across for every day, so I'm not using up all the memory and the memory cards. Got a big trip coming at the end of the year, so that's what I'm probably going to be doing with that. I won't dive too much into everything else that I use on my computer, but the main programs I use is Lightroom and Final Cut Pro. I find they're the easiest for me. I did pay the money for the Final Cut Pro. I didn't like just the normal Final Cut, and I've used Premiere Pro before, but on MacBooks I don't reckon it's as efficient. Personally, I find Final Cut being an Apple product, it works better on the MacBooks. And yeah, so that's all our gear. If you have any questions, just drop a comment, let us know what you think. If you have any questions about the stuff that we use. Thanks for watching this little episode with Explore by Adventure.